So what Heath and I are going to do is we're each going to give 2 surprise league winners. These are guys who are outside the top 20 at wide receiver or running back, or outside the top 10 at quarterback or tight end. Probably guys that you did not draft. If you did, you stashed them. So Heath, you can go first. Give me one of your league winners, and we'll discuss briefly.
Yeah, I will say I'm going with the surprise angle here. Jerry Jeudy. I was surprised to realize yesterday that in the games that Jerry Jeudy's played at least 80% of the snaps, he has averaged 14.5 PPR fantasy points per game. He, over the next 4 weeks, faces the Chiefs, the Cardinals, the Rams, and the Chiefs. I might expand this to say that, like, the Broncos could be the surprise league-winning offense over the last 4 weeks. Just terrible defenses. Judy's been fantastic when he's been a full-time player. He might be even better if there's no Courtland Sutton because the volume goes up. I could see Jerry Jeudy finishing the last 4 weeks of the fantasy season as a top 12 wide receiver.
If Sutton plays?
If Sutton, 14.5, first off, is not that far from top 12. It's 16.9 so far on the year, but that includes Michael Thomas, who's played 3 games, and DeAndre Hopkins, who's played 6. If you just look at guys that have played half the season, you're looking at 15.5 points get you into the top 12.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're the worst offense in football, arguably, so I just don't know how much the matchups matter. They just played Las Vegas, and they scored 16 points. They faced the Titans coming off their bye where half the Titans defense was injured. They scored 10 points. They scored 10 points against Carolina. Yeah.
Carolina's defense is not bad at all. It's
been pretty bad the last month. They were without their top cornerback who's out for the year. The Broncos are awful. But I thought the same thing about Jeudy. If Sutton's out, it's a very, very small sample size, but with Sutton off the field this year, he has a 43% target per route run rate, which is amazing, but it's only 14 routes, so it probably doesn't matter. But you will see an increase in targets for sure.
And like just to expand on the other guys, like I think Greg Dulcich could be a top 5 tight end, no question. If they just use him like they did the first 3 games or the most recent game, if he's getting 6 to 8 targets, he could absolutely, and he's available on the waiver wire. And then Latavius Murray caught 4 passes in Mike Boone's first game back. Yep. The Chiefs have been awful against pass-catching running backs.
I know, but Russell Wilson's thrown 8 touchdown passes this year. So
I understand, but
upside.
Chris Godwin caught 0 touchdown passes for 10 weeks and then caught 2 in back-to-back weeks. Like we see all year long, guys who don't score touchdowns all of a sudden score touchdowns.
Yep, you're right. All right, my league winner, one of mine, is someone I'm stealing from Heath, is Garrett Wilson.
The most droppable player in fantasy.
He was at one point the most droppable player in fantasy when Zach Wilson was his quarterback, and more importantly, when Breece Hall was his running back. And they had an incredible running game, a great defense. But Garrett Wilson's got 92 or more yards in 4 of his last 5 games, including 2 of them started by Zach Wilson. One thing that concerns me is, like, you look at his production with Joe Flacco and Mike White. It's been terrific, 5 games. But they've thrown 44 or more passes in 4 of those 5 games. They threw 52 or more in 3 of those 5 games. Can that continue? Well, look who they're playing. The Bills, the Lions, the Jaguars, the Seahawks. At least 3 of those teams, I think, will put up a decent amount of points against the Jets. So I really have no concerns. I mean, Garrett Wilson, some touchdown concerns, but how about this, Heath? He has the 8th most red zone targets and the 5th most green zone targets in the NFL. So he could catch. He's only got 4 touchdowns this year. I mean, there could be more coming. He's an absolute must start and certainly a potential league winner. And I don't think you're going to dispute that. So let's go to our next guy. Who's your next league winner?
No, this is like a snake draft. You go, I go 1, you go 2, then I go 1.
Oh, all right, Christian Watson. And you will probably dispute this. And I think it's, easy to dispute it because he's only had 6 to 8 targets in each of his last 4 games. But in that stretch, he's faced Dallas and Philadelphia and come through with big games, 100 yards and at least 1 touchdown in both of them. So now he gets the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Vikings in the fantasy playoffs after a bye this week. I love the matchups for Christian Watson. I'm hoping for more attempts. I think the only thing, more attempts from the, more targets, more attempts from the quarterbacks. The only thing that scares me is Aaron Rodgers sitting. But Love maybe is an improved quarterback and can, just get the ball in Watson's hands because he's pretty dynamic. So I'm going to nominate Christian Watson as a league winner.
I have no problem at all with that. I think that he absolutely, both Garrett Wilson and Christian Watson, listen, we said it in the summer, and there's been a little bit of pushback on the C. You should draft rookie wide receivers. I don't know if that's necessarily true because most of these rookie wide receivers ended up on the waiver wire in 40% of leagues at one point this year, and it was a disastrous start to the season. But this is what the good rookie wide receivers do. They catch fire at some point in the middle or towards the end of the season and are just awesome. And I think you could see that same thing with Treylon Burks if he's okay. You could see that thing with a few of these rookie wide receivers. So I like that one a lot.
All right. What do you got? Who's your next one?
I will go with Rachaad White. It was a little bit concerning that he was sharing so much with Leonard Fournette, but Tom Brady just has zero faith in his offensive line right now. And so it's dump off, almost as much as Mike White. And so I do think that there's a potential, even if Fournette and White are playing together, for both of these guys to be number 2 running backs in full PPR, catching a lot of passes. And if something happens to Fournette, or if he falls out of favor, remember the game before he got hurt, they started Rachaad White. Then we could see Rachaad White in the fantasy semifinals and finals against the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers, games that can have a lot of running back touches available as an absolute must-start top 12 type running back.
17 targets in his last 2 games. Who would you rather have, Zonovan Knight or Rachaad White?
Because Zonovan White's another one. Knight's another one. I just didn't want to choose another Jet. I think I'd rather have Zonovan Knight. Both of them have the same type of potential role in the passing game, I think. But I'm more concerned about Leonard Fournette than I am Michael Carter.